this is same day as last audio I did, but my cat just fell asleep under the blanket, and so I take a chance now to do something for you. And I cannot do so much with the sounds also because I'm not brilliant at that, really. Aside from speaking, not that I'm brilliant at that, but yeah, enjoy the speaking part. I do, but yeah, I have to know where to keep this thing now. If I make a lot of noise, then the little cat, she will be disturbed, and then she will disturb me, so she will think it's a game of sorts. Yeah, I can really enjoy small touches of sound ASMR, or get a lot of ASMR from that. But when it comes to that being the overall thing, I don't enjoy that as much. When it's all about that, I mostly enjoy voices, or that in combination with voices. Okay, and I went back to some of my favorite ones when I found ASMR, and I get all blown away. Today I haven't listened to her for years. I went back and listened to a video where Silent Citadel made those cards she've done long ago, but oh my, the tingles. Yeah. And also, I won't go into everything that annoys me, but and you can, after a while, you can skip that part if you listen to someone regularly. But when it comes up this commercial thing, like in all kinds of videos, that bugs me quite. Yeah, it takes me off of the focus, or concentrating the mindfulness, I guess. So that's also the reason why I mean, as for example, let's find out, as I talked about recently, I don't know, maybe mention it sometime also, but you have those, I've seen recently at least, it comes up those Patreon and such like links or whatever, but it doesn't disturb the sound, it's just there as an information, quiet information, that I don't feel disturbed by. Although I can miss the whole, when I came across it, it was much more about just sharing and so on. It had become so much a profession, sort of, for most people, or about that. I'm not sure that's right, but that's how I feel. Anyways, now I get really tired. I need to speak very silent and softly. She sleeps right beside me, so usually she gets pretty relaxed to this when I do this, but sometimes if I haven't played with her before, she's crazy instead. So yeah, I will just continue on the topic I think that I was on about the whole getting in shape thing, and yeah, I think it gets clarified, although I really like to talk about it more than doing it, but still, yeah. This thing that I mentioned, and also I chose this picture of, wonder if this would be Raphael then. He is holding this this Caduceus with the, actually showing also the chakras, the Kundalini force and such. I guess this would be the angel Raphael. And I have been in touch with the angels very, very long time, but not as clearly as lately. So that's awesome too. Anyway, so since this is about healing, and so I just chose this picture, although it's a bit dark, I think it's kind of relaxing. Okay, so one of the things I mentioned is to not skip meals. Maybe sometimes I won't get 5 meals in there, but I will go for that, at least 4. I don't want to eat too late, but maybe a little bit, just to keep the digestion and the fat burning high. So yeah, but just note, I mean, not notice, yeah, that too, to record, put notes down on what times I eat something. I don't want to become obsessed in that direction, to write everything down and be like that. That feels disturbed in the other direction to me, so I don't want to do that. At least not for now, but I think it can be a really good idea for a while. Not maybe as a lifestyle, but if anyone needs that, that's okay too. I mean, whatever works for anyone, that's good for them. But I think it can be governed by fear sometimes, to stay stuck with things like that too. Anyways, I did that for a while. I don't recall for how long I did that now. I mentioned it to you at least some weeks. And I mean, I recorded when and what I ate, and approximately what amounts of it too. Not exact, like I didn't weigh it or stuff, or measure it like that, but approximately. And that can be a really good tool. I got a lot out of that, to actually do it and look at it. It made certain things much clearer, and also it made it clearer where I have my blind spots, and also what I a little bit refuse to see, and where I need to make the changes, really. It was quite obvious. I also used those highlighters, so that I showed this to you, if you recall, some of you who watched my videos before. For those veggie things or healthy things, like, and for different food groups, I actually had different highlighters afterwards. I didn't do that meanwhile, but afterwards, when I checked through those weeks, I did that. And also for the things that were sugary or stuff that was not supposed to be in there, and you could clearly see that there was a lot of that color that shouldn't be in there. So that in itself made it pretty obvious to me. I still have it. But I don't want to keep doing that, though. Maybe go back to it sometime, just as a checkup, but not to keep doing it all the time. But the whole writing down the time, just when I have been eating, or I'm going to eat, that I think would be really helpful. So, yeah. Because it's easy to get cravings for sweets and fat things or such, just because you don't keep that regularly, to get the intake of food and the blood sugar stable and so on. So, and to avoid that would be great also for the energy level, to have the energy needed to exercise, and to keep the mind clear, so you think in a less blurry way, because your decisions and thought process really changes also when the blood sugar goes down, so you can't make the greatest decisions then. And also for now, I know I am at a really, really low level, but I like to start here, and I like to share with you when I am there. I kind of expect myself, I always expect myself to reach the highest ambition goal that I have. But at the same time, I love that, because that is really high to silliness degree. But still, I believe it will get better and better, though. And so I like to share from this position. I feel also that could be more helpful for someone than if I started out from a very fit level. guess those I feel inclined to help the most, or to not help but to share path with and encourage each other, is those who are more like me, I guess. Other people who are already active, they know how to do that, and some people, pretty many actually, really need to slow down and take time to relax and such, much more than they need to pressure themselves more and more in action like that physically. So I just use the resistance, if you say, from the body now. I don't add weight. I have weights, and I have worked with weights before, but also just to keep it easy and also available all the time, even if I would be somewhere else or what it would be, to make it simple. Yeah. And also I have this book, Happy Yoga it's called. I mean, some yogis practice yoga also as really quite heavy exercise, and they are really, really fit. And depending on how they eat, of course, I think they used to say that 80% of the result is how the diet is, but still, one have this adjusted sun salutation. There is actually also moon salutation that could be beneficial to someone who are a little bit. If you're obsessive around food and such, you could need coolness more than heat yourself up, let's say, as the sun salutation do. But also it energizes you, which is really good. But anyway, he have this sun salutation, but adjusted to more of an exercise routine. But it really, if you do that, even if you do the regular one that you can find everywhere, I guess, online or on YouTube here, the sun salutation really, you can say, massages all the acupressure points in the body, the major ones anyways. So it activates all of your energy system and meridians, really. Yeah. So yoga also is aside from the whole mindfulness and balancing the spirit and body and all parts of ourselves, and unifying it, it's also can be very well used to reach high fitness level as well. And you get like the stretching part with it without doing that like afterwards or before. So yeah. And also it was long ago when I was had been very sick and started my gifts, if you say, or the psychic, or I would say extraordinary gifts, but yeah, the extrasensory parts became more and more clear, or more and more always in my face, let's say, to communicate with me. I will show these 5 Tibetans as well. I started out with them then because I was like shown that, but I think I waited for a while before I started, and probably I should have done that when I got that message. And so it was quite some time after, maybe a couple of months or so after I got that. So I don't know if something was out of balance with my liver then, or something was not right. So I felt like I was going to puke. I got really dizzy and sick when I started doing that. But I think that if I would have started to begin with, when I got that advice, you can say, now the cat moves, that's not a good sign, under the blanket, then I assume I would have, it would have been very good for me. And it may have been also if I would have continued with it, but since I felt so bad doing it, so I stopped. Anyways, but those are also, I mean, to practice them, it affects much more than just physical, but it says to make you young or revitalize your body, sort of. I think they're called something like that. Youthful, no, not youthful exercise. I don't know, but yeah, it like generate your. Sometimes I make up words myself. I kind of guess a little bit if this is an English word, sort of, and then I just say it. But anyway, so that's also good. It doesn't have to be whatever you're drawn to and feel happy doing, but do something that's the main thing, I think. But also I'm very drawn to those fitness, I would almost call them gurus, but that include, like they call it, mind-body activities, sort of. And so that they work from the wholeness. I think, I enjoy that the most. And it doesn't have to mean that they are less. I mean, you really need to work with it, but still, it's with a different spirit. And I guess most of the time they are more free, also to really tune into yourself. Meanwhile, you do those. Whatever exercise it would be, so because it's very much about this wellness or inner balance and dealing with stress in a good way and such, and we all need that. So yeah, Pilates maybe would be one of those also. There are many new forms of it. I'm very inspired by those. And this Blossom Tainton is one that in Sweden here that I've been inspired by for 1,000 years, but I've not followed her. She's also a personal trainer, or have been at least, and I don't know. I just always felt drawn to her messages, if you say, and so on, what she share and teach. And recently I saw she have this challenge with herself. She do like 100 burpees every day. Is it called that? When you jump up and then like down to do a what is it? Push up and then jump up and then jump back to push up and that. So and then in shorter time. And she's like, I don't know her age, but she's way older than me, actually. She's like 50 or something. I'm impressed by her. And I kind of have that also in the back of my mind. I want to do that too. I mean, maybe you could if you just divided it during a day. But still, I won't get to 100. But to get this balance and also have the breathing, because that connects you with all there is. Actually, the breath is such a vital part of being in connection with the life force overall. So, and also the inner strength, not only the outer strength, but also, meanwhile, grow the inner strength. So, I wonder when I started talking, but I will go on for a little while, anyways. I try to sit a little bit further away from the computer with this mic because it's so loud. Oftentimes I think it's quite silent now, actually, much more so than usually. Sometimes it's loud, so it echoes in the whole. I don't know what it's doing then. This laptop. Yeah, so and also in yoga there are several. There is I love Kundalini yoga, and but that is more energy yoga, and I guess that's why I'm drawn to that, because I love to work with the energies, and it really is efficient to balance the body as well as strengthening the aura field and everything, which I also needed very much before, but still also. But there is also this breath of fire where you really cleanse the body. There are several kinds of breaths, and yoga is also one part of the whole system of Ayurveda. So, of course, yoga is something I really love. But that also, I've been way too distracted, or what it is, to focus on doing that every day. And there are certain yoga sessions, if you would say, that really don't take some time or effort even to do, and it really helps your whole body, like the Sat Kriya. That really strengthen you and your whole chakra system and everything in a short amount of time and with little effort. And still I don't do it yet. Should always add yet to those things. But I love it. It's like inner massage. That is almost like I talked about in my previous audio here, I talked about what rewards to give myself. But yoga is actually one of those rewards, because that is so lovely to do meanwhile as well. To me, that is And also, if I do believe firmly that if we listen more to our bodies and our inner selves and the signals, the body is really intuitive. If we listen to it, then it speaks to us in so many ways. We can listen to the hair on our bodies even, actually, how it reacts. It speaks to us all the time. All our body, but then I think we would be better off in all kinds of ways, physically and mentally, and in fitness, and how we look and everything. So I'm very much drawn to those body-mind things. Yeah, but that's just me. And also I wanted to share one thing that I found amazing about the need to drink enough, and how easily that affect our so many things. And I would say what here. I think I did that before, but I will do it again. And for whatever reason, if we drink less than we need to, or if we sweat too much, or what it is, we get tired and irritated, or worried, or unconcentrated, or get headache even with the slightest lack of fluids or water in our bodies. So, but also it makes it harder for the body to burn fat. So it's very important to drink enough. And I will then say a little bit that if you lose this percentage of your body weight, what happens then? For whatever reason that is, if you lose 1% of your body's weight in water, then you cannot take up as much oxygen, and that means that you can't perform as well, and you can also have headache already at 1%, and at 2% you start to feel thirsty, and you may feel loss of appetite, and your stamina really get lower. And also, this was new when I read this first time, that the water in the back of the spine and dries up, if you would say, or lessens. So the risk for back injuries really increase. And this is just 2% of your body fat if you lose that in water weight then. So that's just I mean, there are so many people with back problems of various kinds. I had no clue that that was so important for especially for the back. And then if you exercise and such, it's even more than important because you use that. So, yeah. At 3% you feel dry in the mouth, and your strength and stamina is heavily affected negatively. So, and at 4%, even more so, you are able to perform even less well, and also the mental ability to perform is worsens, if you say, and you feel impatient and worried and irritated. And at 5%, then you get a hard time to concentrate, and the pulse go up, and the heart have to work harder to do what it needs to do. So it takes a toll on the heart unnecessarily. So we feel that if you do some sort of exercise, you feel that's more difficult than usually, and you move slower also. And at 6 to 7%, the body are not able to regulate the temperature efficiently, so you would feel either too warm or too cold, and the pulse increased even more, and you start to breathe quicker and more strain with strain, and the skin get pale and feels cold when you touch it, and you can feel like twitches or so tingles, twitches in a not pleasant way in your arms and legs, and get a hard time to sleep at night, and also more difficulty to keep your balance. And then you also start to get a really serious headache. And at 8 to 9%, then you start to feel faint and have a hard time to think clearly, and your muscles feel like they have no strength, and risk to injure the whatever they are called in the back, in the spine. Those, anyways, it's a great risk of injuring yourself there. And at 10%, you have muscle spasms during exercise, and you easily get cramp when you rest, and your balance is even more. It's even worse. And the tongue can start to feel swollen, and at 11%, then you get, I don't know what it's called exactly, the word in English, but overheated. So you can't think clearly, and start to just speak strangely, and you risk brain damage and coma, and you also get difficulty to swallow. So, and also if you smoke, you are already, without exercising, at a level of 1 to 2%, because it dries you up so much. So it can be good to have a water bottle with you and drink a little bit every hour or so on, so you get a couple of liters during the day, depending on how hot it is, of course, and how much exercise you do or how much you sweat and such. But yeah, it is so important not to also harm yourself during training then, or exercise. And when you feel thirsty, that's not a good measure for if you have been drinking enough, because then you already have a lack of, when you start to feel that, then it have been going on for a little while. So it's better to check the urine, the color of the urine. It should be actually transparent or very bright yellow, or no color at all. So to know if you drink enough. And also, if you start to eat better, it becomes like a detoxification of the body, and then you also need water to cleanse that out. So you need to add it probably. Also, if you add fibers to the food more and eat less quick carbs and such. So yeah. But some sort of not weight training, but strength training, muscle training, and cardio and eating healthy is like what my goal is. And it shouldn't be too hard. I mean, how can it be so hard to get it done? But still, I do think this will help me to say it to you. So, and also you can get overtrained. I mentioned this also before. Even if you don't feel like you do too much, because it totally depends on your fitness level, and also, yeah, if you about to get sick, it can be various things that affect that. So you can test your pulse if you want to go all in for that every morning to see if your body starts to react like you're overtrained, and then you will feel really less motivated to do it. So to push yourself too much, especially in the beginning, is not a great choice, I think. And only to do the things you feel is fun, those activities that make you feel good. I do think that will make you continue with them more. If you don't like to torture yourself, there are those who actually get a kick out of that. So to each their own, as always. And also, as a vegetarian, okay, I eat fish now and then, even more so now, actually. Fat fish, I mean, yeah, I know it's good for me, but so part of me wants to go all raw or all vegetables, like vegetarian, but yeah, where I'm at now, I eat some fat fish, though. And that also adds to the heat, to the pitta in the body. Related to Ayurveda, all things you eat have various combinations of those elements in them, and so you activate those within you more or less. So, for example, you can use certain spices to heat yourself up and yeah, so on. Or cool yourself down, or what it is, or cleanse, or different kinds of things. Yeah. But when it comes to that, also, for example, when it comes to proteins, I won't go into exact things when it's about food, because I'm so tired of the topic. I've always been focused on that, so I'm not talking about it a lot here. But it drains me to think about it almost. But you don't need to combine various kinds of protein-rich food sources in one meal. It's okay if you do it during a day to get this all the amino acids you need and so on. It doesn't have to be in the same meal, so it's not that difficult to do. But yeah, you get them, of course, easier if you would add, for example, fish. Okay, so and I think I think it's very common, because you want so much to get results when you start out. You want to go all in, so you go all out too hard and do too much and too heavy. Also, when it comes to videos, sometimes that can be the case if you're too inspired. But yeah, so it's about to find the right level for you, and to really listen in. And also, because the body can't adjust as quickly as we want to, and also the mind can't even. I think we need it to be a gradual process, but not to block it or slow it down, but to really listen in and respect that time it took for us to get out of shape. Maybe we need that time to get in shape as well. So yeah, it doesn't happen in a day, you know. So, and to know, if you don't want to check your pulse for what's the right level for you, there are other ways that indicate that if you feel lustful, if you feel like, is that a wrong word for that really? Well, if you feel joy and lust for the exercise you're going to do, then that's good. Then you haven't been pushing yourself too hard. And also, if you can, you get the pulse you need in between them, so you feel okay in between before you go at it again, so to speak. But if you go too slow, then you wouldn't see any results of it. And of course that won't happen overnight anyways, but if you don't feel or see any results within a few weeks, or at least like 3 weeks or so, then you need to probably, then you keep it too low. A general rule of thumb to how to increase the exercise is to not increase it more than 10% each week, to eliminate the risk of injuries and overtraining. And you can do that in various ways then, if you increase how often or how heavy, or the intensity of when you do it, what it is. And also to modify the exercises that you do, or if you do certain things, to keep them at the level. Of course, this is it's unnecessary to say, but there are many things you can do in various steps. So when you get stronger, you can just add and do it in a different way. I couldn't even make one push-up before, and I don't think I've ever been able to. This is like embarrassing, but I never tried. I've never been interested in exercise or such. So, but I didn't even understand how to do it. But actually, it was not only that it was a lack of strength to do it, but my muscles or my arms or what it was didn't understand what to do. They was frozen. It didn't work, because when the synapses, or what it is, when it connected with my brain or what it wasn't like I stood there paralyzed, but I really couldn't do it. But when I tried a few times, then a few days in a row, like that, then it was easy to do. So it was like my body didn't have a clue how to do it, really. And when it realized what it was supposed to do, then it was easy. And then you could just add to that then after that. So it's not always the strength, it also is the connections that maybe they need some time the body needs some time to realize what it is supposed to do, Yeah. So, there are so many things, but I'm very inspired in this about this topic now. I passionate, although I'm not doing it, which that would be a good thing. But I think I will be, even if I do it. And I've seen changes around me. Those who, people around me that have changed a lot and been very inspired and so on around exercise, and that also inspired me. So and also to make it playful. I think that is important, to keep that joy of it, not make it a chore, So and as I mentioned, I do a few that was inspired by Kalle, what is his name now? Zachary, I forgot his name now, but he's like a little bit of a inspiring guru here in Sweden as well. Anyways, although he pushed himself like far, but just to do what are they called now? Squats and crunches or sit-up, and what did I say now? Push-ups. I started with like a set of 5, let's see, 5 push-up, 10 sit-ups or crunches, and 15 squats. Is that the word for it? Yeah, I think so. And then I just added how many repetitions and such. But even that really quickly changes and adds to your strength. So at least those to do every day. And that I was inspired by he was at schools getting kids activated and so on. Yeah, with those small tools. And also he wrote an inspiring book, but anyway. And also just to put on some music and dance, everything that is movement. You don't always have to follow, like, even if it would be like a DVD or like something like that, just to move joyfully. I do that too seldom. And also related to Nietzsche, I think maybe I mentioned this in the previous video now. Yeah, I did. About that was like a day not well spent, no, but in vain, almost like a day you didn't dance. Yeah. And also that it's not all or nothing, but everything you do count. If you do something for 10 minutes, that counts. It's not nothing. So, but to find the right level and listen to your body and be really present and not to strain your mind even when you do the things that also have an effect on the result. So, yeah. But I will have to end now, I think. I don't know for how long I can talk, but I wanted to add a few things there. Well, I kind of start to long for you quite a lot now, but I will stay away and be hidden for a while, and also to get these things among some other things working. I mean, I need to focus on other things. Although I really enjoy this playtime online, I get distracted and so on. So therefore, I think it's for the best. But when I get it rolling and working and flowing well, then I will upload this for you. So. And you know that already when I do. So this is just silly talking about it right now. Then I've already made them public. So, but take care, and I hope I could inspire you in some way. Feel free to inspire me. I enjoy it always, and whatever requests or anything, just let me know. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.